Okay, hi everyone. So I think we are live now, and let me know. So once you're able to see me, I believe I'm audible and visible to all of you. So Pradeep, yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, so I believe I'm audible. Sumit, yes, okay. Okay, so you can ping me in a chat, guys. I can see your chat. I can see many people have joined, but they are not pinging so far. So I don't know why, but yeah, I think you should ping. Okay, guys, so let me share my screen. And today we are going to start ahead with the Spark. So I believe all of you have logged in into a Databricks. And inside a Databricks, so we are going to experiment each and everything for a Spark. So yesterday we have already logged in into a Databricks, and along with me, I believe most of us was able to log in into a Databricks. Some of us were facing some sort of a issue, which I was able to see in a big data uh, WhatsApp group basically. So you have to click on get started with a community edition. So you're not supposed to click on this AWS, Azure or GCP. So basically you can click on get started with community edition and it will work fine for you. Yeah. So nothing much you have to do in general. Okay. So let's get started. So here, yesterday I have given you the introduction of a Databricks. So today what we are going to do is, so this is the same kind of an interface you all must be able to see. And if you have not logged in into a Databricks, so quickly, please try to log in into a Databricks because we are going to do a lot of operation inside a Databricks itself. And once you are able to log in into a Databricks, so please go to this setting, right? So setting will be visible under your name tab, under your profile tab. So please go to a setting and inside a setting, just click on advanced option. So go to setting first, then click on advanced option. Then after advanced option, so you can come over here and you will be able to see a DBS file browser. So this particular option you all will be able to see. So you have to switch it on because by default this DBS file browser will be off. So you have to keep it on so that you will be able to upload your local data from your own computer, from your own system, and you will be able to write different kind of a operation on top of the data set. So fine guys, if you are able to find this particular setting, so please say yes inside a chat and then we can load a data, we can start understanding about the data and then we can proceed ahead. Yep. Okay, so the data set which I'm going to use in my today's class is basically a phone uses in India. So this is the data set which we are going to use. And if you will look into this data set, and again, I'm going to share this data set inside your chat as well so that you can use it along with me. So in this data set, you will be able to find out a multiple column with a proper naming convention. So let me just expand it. Yeah. So here inside this data set, so it's basically a phone uses of the data, phone users data inside India. And here you will be able to find out a very first column called as user ID. And then you will be able to find out age of the user, gender of the user, location of the user, phone brand that people are using, operating system that people are using, screen time, which is like very scary. So average screen time is 6.54 hour, which is very high. And I think we should be worried about it because people is having a extreme like uh, screen time and data uses per GB per month. It's given over here. So it's again average wise, it's a 25 GB of a data people are using. I don't know whether they are watching a reels or they are trying to use it for a study purpose, but my assumption is people are trying to use this data just to watch a reels. Then call duration. So on an average, people are trying to spend 151 minute. Just imagine. So on an average, people are 151 minute they are spending just on call. It's massive. Number of app installs. So again, on an average, people have installed 104 apps inside their mobile device. Social media wise, so time per hour per day. It's a 3.25 hour. E-commerce is spent each and every month. So again, it's very, very high, 5,075 rupees, some change. So like people are like spending a lot on social media in terms of time and on e-commerce in terms of money. Streaming time hour is 4.25 hour. Game time is 2.49. So people are loving a game. And the monthly recharge cost is very, very less. It's just 1,000 rupees. And because of that, people are, trying to use this entire data set. And people are able to use people are using this entire things extensively. And primary uses is for education, gaming, entertainment, social media. But mostly you will be able to find out entertainment and social media and for a gaming. Very few you will be able to find out with respect to education. So yeah, hopefully you are using it for education. And we have in total 787. So technically it's a 17,686 record. So we have header as well inside our data set. So we have basically a column name which is available inside our data set. So yeah, we have a header over here. So now guys, I'm sending you this data inside your chat so that you all can download it in your own system and you will be able to use it inside this class. So I believe all of you are able to download, guys. Yeah, a data set. Okay, so yes, okay, I'm able to find HDFS. Okay, that's great. I'm unable to find HDFS. It's not HDFS, it's actually DBFS. DBFS file. So Databricks file system. This is what it means. So go inside your setting and inside the advanced, you will be able to find out this particular option. So DBFS file browser. Okay. So dataset is already with you. The very first thing that we have to do is, so we have to upload a data inside this Databricks file system. And that is the reason. So I have asked you to enable this DBFS file browser, because by default, this Databricks is not giving you a DBFS file browser. So once you are going to enable it, then only you will be able to find out this DBFS file browser. Now, so once you will be able to download this DBFS file, once you are able to enable this DBFS file browser, and once you are able to download the file which I have shared with you inside your chat. So what you can do is, so maybe you can try to go inside a catalog. So this is a catalog that you will be able to find out. Now inside this, why I am not able to click. So inside this catalog, just enable it and refresh it once. So after refreshing, you will be able to find out an option called as DBFS over here. So this is the DBFS option that you will be able to find out. And Databricks always provides you its own set of directories, and you can even try to create your own set of directories over here, where you can try to upload a file, where you will be able to perform a read operation, you are going to perform a write operation, and many more operations with respect to file. You all will be able to see inside this DBFS file browser. Otherwise, you will not be able to do anything. So this is the very first requirement, right? This is the very first requirement. Now, just click on upload. And once you are going to click on upload, so it is giving you option drop file to upload or click to the browser. So fine, I can click to the browser. Maybe I can try to select my data, and my data size is 1.5 MB. Once I'm able to select my data, then just click on done, and you will be able to see your data set over here. And if you are going to double click on that, it is going to give you a file path, that where this DBFS is storing your own data. So it is giving you a Spark API format, and it is giving you file API format. Anything of this is fine. So by both path, you will be able to read a data inside a Spark. So again, I will be using obviously this one. So you can just copy this path, and if you are not going to copy for the first time, not an issue at all. Again, you can come to a catalog, and then from here, again, you can do a double click, and again, you will be able to copy the file path, because this file path is very much important, and this is the file that you all are going to read and perform a variety of operation. Okay, so DBFS is not showing to me in a setting. Same Sumit. Okay, hey, can someone share me that file link? I joined little late. Not an issue. Even if you are going to join little late, Gopi, you have to click on resource tab. So basically click on this resource tab. So you must be able to see a resource tab inside a chat, right hand side, top corner. And from there, just try to download the resource tab, click on resource tab, and from there you can download it. So even if you're going to join after a classes, resources will be available. So if I'm going to share any resources, any link for once, it will be available over there for an infinite time. So you don't have to worry about any file which I'm sharing or maybe joining a class a little bit late. It's fine. It's fine. This is how system has been designed. Okay, now moving ahead. So we are able to find the file path, and those who are not able to enable a DBFS, like I said, you have to go to your profile, click on setting, click on advanced, and then come down over here. And here you will be able to find out a DBFS file browser. Since my Databricks is starting 14 days trial for a professional, can I go for the community? Don't go for a professional, because if you'll go for a professional, so in that case, it will give you just a 14 days of trial. We don't need it now. Maybe we'll need it in a later stage, but we don't need it now. So don't try to, exhaust your professional edition. Just go with the community edition. So yesterday I have shown you professional edition, and today I'm showing you the community edition. Simple. So go with the community edition. And I believe with the community edition, you will be able to see the same interface. And if you are going ahead with the professional edition or Azure Databricks, you will be able to see a lot of options over here, which you will not be able to see in a community edition. This option, I believe you are not using a community edition in that case, Sumit. You must be using a professional edition in that situation, I believe. That's the reason you are not able to see. So please switch to a community edition. You will be able to see it. Now go to new and try to click on notebook, or maybe you can try to go to workspace, and even over there, you can try to create a notebook. So anywhere, it's completely fine. So from new, you can create a notebook, or even from a workspace, you are going to create a notebook, or even you can click over here. Can come to your user. So this is your user basically. And from here, so you will be able to create a folder if you have to maintain a folder structure for a future purposes, or directly you can click on notebook and you can start writing a code. So this is my Jupyter notebook, by the way, and I'm going to name it. So 12th Jan Spark class. Okay. So I have already named it. And here, so you have to attach a compute. So this is just a notebook and you have to attach a compute. Now, so I can try to maybe like use this Sudhanshu cluster, and yeah, so it will be up and running. If it is not up and running, you can go to a compute and then maybe try to create a compute. So even from here, so you will be able to create a compute. I think I have already shown you this option in my yesterday's class. So I believe everything is fine with all of us. And inside this cluster UI, so you will be able to see a Spark UI as well. So as and when you are writing a Spark code, cluster is offline, I believe. So community optimized, that's completely fine. Spark UI. Okay, so let me go and create a compute. Create compute. So it will take a couple of minutes and then my cluster will be up and running. And I'm using a community edition, guys, by the way. So there is no charges at all. And you don't have to even shut down by default. So it's completely fine. Even if you're not going to shut down it, it is not going to cost you, because I have not added my card in this particular account, the account which I was showing you yesterday. So obviously I have shown you with respect to a professional edition, and I have shown you with respect to a Databricks like Azure. Okay, so just wait for my cluster to start and then we will start writing a code. So whenever you are writing a Spark code, so let's suppose this is my notebook, and whenever I'm like writing a Spark code, so the very first thing which I have to do is, so I have to import some of the libraries. So in between I can start writing a code, and my cluster will be up and running. So still it's taking some time. So it will be up and running in some time. So I'll not wait for it, and maybe I can start writing a couple of code over here. So here, first of all, what you have to do is, so you have to import some of the libraries, and those libraries are already available inside your Databricks. So you don't have to go and install it, because by default Spark is installed, and even you can check that out. So whenever you are going to configure the cluster, and if your cluster is up and running, still taking some time. Okay. So if your cluster is up and running, so you will be able to see a Spark UI, and whatever processes that you are running over here inside this Jupyter notebook, you will be able to observe the entire processes even in that part of the system. So first of all, what I can do is, so I can try to import some of the libraries. So I can write PySpark dot SQL. So this is the library which I'm going to import, and then import Spark. So S capital, S-P-A-R-K, Spark, and then session, S again capital. If you are going to make a mistake, then it is not going to work for you. So first of all, I have to import from PySpark.SQL, import a Spark session, because Spark always works under a particular session. Unless and until your session is not up, unless your Spark session is not up, you will not be able to submit any kind of a code to your Spark driver. And eventually you will not be able to execute any kind of a code inside a Spark. Still taking some time. So guys, is it up for you? What is the difference between PySpark and Apache Spark? So basically Apache means it's a open source project, and again Spark supports 4 programming languages. One is a Java, one is Scala, one is R, and one is Python. So the Python version of Spark is basically called as PySpark, and Spark by default is an open source project by default. So yeah, it's taking time for me. Let me refresh the whole page. Still taking some time, guys. Okay, yeah, now it's up and running. Yeah. So now I can start writing a code back to back. Okay, so from PySpark SQL, import Spark session. So this is the very first import that you have to do. And if this import is not going to give you any kind of a problem, it simply means that you will be able to run everything. Everything means literally you will be able to run each and everything. Now, the second part is, so once I'm able to import the library, so I'm supposed last execution failed, no module find called as PySpark, P-Y-S-P-A-R-K, spelling mistake. Okay, so I'm able to import this one. Let me ping you this piece of the code inside the chat. So this is something that you have to do if you're going to make a mistake in that case. Now, so once I'm able to import it, I have to create a Spark session. Session means a starting point you have to create, because whenever you are going to write any kind of a code at the end of the day, so Spark is going to submit that code to a Spark driver, and then from that driver it will go to the worker node. So whenever I'm saying this, and whenever you are trying to assume this one, just try to visualize the architecture that I have already discussed in my previous classes. So Spark driver is going to send a command to all the worker node. Although we are using just a single system over here, so my worker node and or my driver node will be available in the same system. So if I'm talking about maybe a multi-node cluster, so in that case obviously it will be available in a different system in a distributed mode. But as of now, by default I'm using a community edition. In community edition you will not be able to get that facility. In a multi-node obviously you will be able to configure it, and I have already shown you that part in my yesterday's class. Now here I'm able to import this one. Now the second part is I have to create a session so that I will be able to submit my code to my driver. So here I can create a variable. So you can give any name to this variable. No need to give like a proper name, any name that you want. But generally we try to like write a Spark, it's fine. And then you can try to call your Spark session, and then dot, you can try to call basically a builder. So I'm just trying to build a Spark session over here, and then dot app name. So one single app, so that my driver will be able to understand. And if you have to give some name, you can give some name. If you don't want to give some name, it's completely fine. So app name, this is my first program in Spark. Okay, so I can try to give a Spark just a app name, and then get or create. So this is going to create a Spark session for me. So execute it and you will not be able to see any kind of a error at all. So this is going to create, guys, a Spark session for all of you. So again, I have pinged you inside a chat. So it is going to create a Spark session, means it is going to create an entry point. So whenever going forward, after today, you are going to start writing a Spark code, your code is going to start from here, from this particular place. And let me open up the same instance in other tab as well, so that I can keep on showing you a Spark UI. So this cluster is up and running. Now here you will be able to find out a Spark UI, and whatever job I'm going to submit. So you will be able to see all the job, everything you will be able to see inside this entire Spark UI. So whatever execution it is going to call, whatever SQL operation you are going to call, everything and anything will be visible inside this one. And this will be visible once your cluster will be up and running, right? Once your cluster will be up and running. Simple. Now, so coming back to this. So here I'm able to build a Spark session. Now next part. So next part is I have to read a data, the data which I have uploaded into a DBS, Databricks, DBFS basically, Databricks file system. So I have to read that particular data set. Okay. To read that particular data set, so Spark provides you a very simple API. So spark.read.csv. So we had basically a CSV data, right? Comma separated values data, which the data which I have shared with you, this phone uses inside a India data. So this is the data that we are supposed to read. So fine. So I can write like a spark.read.csv, and it's just like a pandas library, guys. Pandas is again one of the very simple Pythonic libraries to deal with the data set. Again, Spark provides you a similar kind of a API. So you don't have to worry about anything. And here, so you have to give a file path, read CSV file path. Now, what is the file path that you are supposed to give? So you have already uploaded a file. So you can go and check inside a catalog that what is a file which is available inside your DBFS system, DBFS, Databricks file system. So this is the file. Now copy its path. So DBFS / file storage / phone uses India.csv. So copy that particular path and then come back to your notebook. So come back to your notebook basically. So here I can copy and paste this particular path inside my read CSV, and then I'm going to execute it, and let's see what happens. And you will experience some slowness in this one because this is a community edition. But yeah, I believe community edition is more than enough. We are not uploading a GB or TBs of data. We are not dealing with that kind of a data. So community edition is completely fine for you. Okay, so done, guys, everyone. And I have not received any kind of an error. So if I have not received any kind of error, in that case, everything is working fine for me. And I don't have to worry about anything or everything. So this is the command read.csv. Now when it is trying to read the data, so by default, I had a multiple columns. I had a multiple columns inside my data set, right? For example, a user ID, age, gender, location, phone brand, operating system, and so on. So there are so many column which is already available. In some of the data set, column will not be available or schema will not be available. But in this data set, I already have a schema. And if you will try to check this place, so you will be able to find out that it is giving a column name _C0, _C1, _C2, and so on. Because by default, Spark is trying to read this CSV and it is considering that there is no header, there is no column name which is available inside my file system. And keeping that in a mind, so it is trying to give its own alias for each and every column. Now in my data set, so by default, this is what Spark will do by default. So if you're going to read a CSV file, if you're going to read the Excel file or any such kind of file, so by default, it is going to give you the column name. Now, so here what I have to do is, so in my data set, I already have a named column, right? There is already a name which is available inside my column. And even in a later stage, right? Even in later stage, let's suppose there is no column name inside the data and I'm trying to read that kind of a data. So even in later stage, you will be able to change a column name. Spark provides you that API as well. So you are not supposed to worry about it, but by default, Spark will give column name is equal to C0, C1, C2. So this is nothing but it's a column name. And by default, it is trying to detect what is a data type available inside my column. So by default, string. This is something that we are able to get. Okay. Now, let's suppose I have a column inside my data, right? So here what you have to do is, so you have to write a parameter. That parameter is already available inside read.csv, and that is basically header. Header is equals to, you have to give true, right? And then you can try to write maybe infer schema. Infer schema is equals to true. It's true, true, boolean. So infer schema is equals to true. Now if I'm going to read the data, right? Now if I'm going to read the same data, exact same data, so here you will be able to find out that it is able to understand user ID, age, gender, location, phone brand is, and then like time, hours per day, data uses, and it is able to give you a different data type as well, right? This is what happens with respect to a infer schema, that it is trying to read even a data type, and header is helping you out to identify a column name inside my data set. So yes, column name, I'm able to receive user ID and then age and then gender and then location, then phone brand, we have operating system, and if you will go and double check your data, you will be able to find out the exact same thing. And here data type also, it is able to identify automatically. So I'm not supposed to worry about anything now. Maybe I can try to create one single variable over here. So a variable called as data, and inside that I can try to store all the data. Now all the data I'm able to load inside my DVFS, and from DVFS I'm able to load it inside my Spark session. So now you don't have to go and load a data again and again. I'm keeping it inside one of the variable, so it's completely fine for me. So done, guys. Are you able to follow? Please ping yes or no. Yeah, it's nothing. It's like a basic which I'm trying to explain you. Okay, so once we are able to do this, right? Once we are able to read a data, once we are able to load a data, and at the end of the day, so again, I'm going to provide you this entire notebook. So don't worry about it. But yeah, so try to do it along with me. I'll keep on pinging you a code inside your chat. So here we are able to read a data. Now after reading a data, I can try to perform any kind of operation that I want. Any means literally any kind of operation I will be able to perform. So for example, data dot, and here you will be able to see so many inbuilt function, not just one or two. There are so many inbuilt function you will be able to find out over here. Just like any simple Pythonic library, it is giving you a tons of inbuilt function, and with the help of these inbuilt function, you will be able to perform anything that you want. So let's suppose I would like to like print a schema of the data set, right? Schema of the data set. So what I can do is I can try to call print schema function, execute, and in this way I will be able to print the entire schema of the data set. So whatever column that I have, whatever data type that we have, so user ID, and then this is the column name, this is the data type, and then nullable is equals to true, 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 true. So all the column name, its data type. So whether it's a double, whether it's an integer, whether it's a integer, or whether it's a string. So each and everything we are able to read out in this one. So this is how you will be able to understand that, okay, these are the column which is available. So maybe I can try to deal with this column. I can try to perform some sort of a EDA operation, and I can try to perform some of the statistical operation on top of my data set. Fine, guys, everyone, are you able to follow? Okay, so print schema, this is something that you have to call, and not just this. So there are like hundreds of function which is already available. So you can try to call any of this function, and the function is going to work in the exact same way. Now, so this is saying yes. Okay. Now here, so data dot, again, let's try to execute some of the function. So data dot show, and this show is going to show you some of the data which is available inside your file. So here it is not visible in a way we were expecting, because we have lots and lots of column. So this is how you are like, it is not showing you up in a proper tabular format, because size of the data set is bit high and number of columns inside the data set is bit high. Again, here you can try to call maybe like a 5, 4, something like that. So in that way, it is going to show you only 5 records, only 5 record. So only showing up to top 5 record. This is what it is going to perform. Now, So data dot tail, and here, so it is going to show you a data from a bottom. So I can try to give 5 over here, and yeah, so it is going to show me a data from a bottom, but in a list kind of a format, not in a data frame format. So by default, Spark is going to show you all the data set into a data frame format. Now, apart from that, I can try to call maybe a couple of more functions. So I can try to call maybe columns over here. Okay, let me check. Data dot columns, just a columns. Yeah. So if you're going to call data dot columns, so it is going to return you the list of entire data column. Simple. It is going to return you that particular part. Now, so if I'm looking for a count of the data, so how many total number of the data set is available, or if I would like to know that how many number of columns are available inside this data. So maybe I can try to call this one. So length of the total column. So it is going to give you the total number of the column. So total number of column which is available inside my data set is equals to 16. So length is nothing but, so whatever it is going to return, a kind of a list. And on top of that, so I'm trying to call just a length function. With the help of that, I will be able to know that there are 16 number of column which is available inside my data set. Okay, now moving ahead. So let's suppose I would like to know that how many number of records which is available inside my data set. So again, that is possible. So data dot, I can try to call a count function. So data dot count, and this count is going to give me a number of record which is available inside my record. So there are 17,686 record which is available inside my data set. So count function, column function, print schema function, tail functions, show functions, all of these things are just an inbuilt function, and it's very, very easy to use. Now got it, DVFS in a community version. Okay, great, Pradeep. So maybe I think you can now catch up, right? It's very simple. Just upload the data, start doing this. And I have already pinged you the code which I'm executing inside a chat box. Now, so this is a basic operation that we are able to perform. Now, let's try to print a data type. So maybe I can try to call a data.dtypes. Data.dtypes. So now data.dtypes is going to give you a column name along with its data type. As you can see, column name along with its data type, it is going to give it to you. And it's kind of in a Pythonic way, if I'll say, it's a list of the tuple which it is trying to give it to you. So maybe I can try to like check what is a type. So yeah, so it is basically giving you a list. Now, out of this list, so you can try to extract a data one by one, or you can try to write maybe a for loop, and with the help of for loop, so you will be able to print or access a column name separately and your data type separately. So here I can write a for loop. So maybe I can write over here for columns, and there are two things right inside this one, inside data type. So maybe I can try to separately segregate it. So dtypes data types in, I can say data.dtypes, and then I can try to maybe print basically. I can use maybe a formatted string over here, and I can try to print over here that columns just a minute. So formatted string, so columns, columns, this is the variable name, lumns, and then parallelly I can try to print a dtypes data types. So now if I'm going to execute it, you will be able to find out a separated column, and then we have a column over here, separated column name, and then column, and then we have a string. So if you would like to keep something else over here, so fine, you can try to keep it. It is going to separate. So it is going to separate your column name, and it is going to separate your data types. If you would like to access just a data type, it's completely fine. So remove everything and then just try to access the data type, even in that way it is going to work. So it's a simple normal for loop, and I believe all of you are able to understand the Python code. It's a normal Python code that we are writing. We are not writing anything like a complex over here. And again, it's not complex. This is the reason so we are using PySpark, and that's the reason so the entire world is using a Pythonic Spark. Type error. So just remove a brackets in this. Just data types. Okay, fine. So this is something that we are able to get now. So we have to understand that in which column, right? So we have to understand that basically like some of the statistical analysis, let's suppose we have to understand. But before that, so let's go over here and let's refresh your Spark UI, right? So just let's refresh your Spark UI, and then maybe you can try to come to a job, and you will be able to see that now it is showing me some of the data. So some of the data means, so whatever operations we are trying to perform, it is trying to show me those operations. So data.count, we have performed that count operation, tail operation we have performed, show operation we have performed, read CSV operation we have performed. So each and every operations you will be able to observe inside a Spark UI. Fine. Inside the Spark UI, you will be able to find out. Timestamp is basically a timestamp of the cluster. It's not my local timestamp. So basically, like I'm not running in my local system, I'm running in a community cluster basically. And here, so if you are going to click on one of the job, so you will be able to see the complete visualization. So here, let me decrease the size of my window. So here you will be able to see that how Spark is trying to execute one of the job that you have submitted. For example, so if I'm submitting maybe just a count operation, so internally it is going to create a plan, DAG, right? So data graph it is going to, so DAG it is going to draw internally, and it is showing you that same DAG which it has created internally. Basically like a, it's called as data cyclic graph. So this graph is going to help you out to understand that what in all process Spark is trying to perform internally. So when it is trying to perform one single job, one by one, as you can see, it has skipped this part. It simply means that we have already read the data, right? Now here, so you can click over here in one of the DAG, and then even inside that, what has happened, how query is been executed, how much time it is trying to take, everything on a micro detail label, Spark UI is going to show you. And that is a beauty of Spark UI. That is literally a beauty of Spark UI. So where everything and anything you will be able to observe, you will be able to say it just in one single screen, and which process is taking what kind of a time, what kind of a API internally it is trying to call. So it is calling somewhere map partition RDD. So RDD is nothing but resilient distributed data set. Now, so internally it is trying to shuffle a row, everything means everything, and it is showing me US West time because my cluster is running in a, like my community version of cluster is basically available in a US. So it is trying to run this one into this particular cluster, and what was the time frame which it has taken to execute, everything you will be able to find out. So this is something that we try to use in terms of observing a job at any point of a time, that whether my job is going to fail or my job is taking this much of time, that much of time, and then based on that we try to even optimize those job. Simple, right? Now like in terms of memory optimization, in terms of latency optimization, network optimization, we always try to use this one on a heavy level, right? So hope all of you are able to find out your Spark UI, right guys, everyone? Yeah, Spark UI. Here you can check all the environment. So which is like nothing but setup, and there is a executor. So now you will be able to see some data. Obviously you will be able to see some data. And I was talking about a Spark driver, right? So I was talking about Spark driver. So Spark driver is a main thing, and whenever you are going to submit any kind of a program, so Spark driver is the one who is going to submit your code or your program to other resources. So whatever resources is available inside your particular cluster. So this is the job of your Spark driver. So you can even try to check. So what and all things are available inside the Spark driver. Now SQL or data frame. So as of now, we have not executed as such anything. So I don't think that there will be anything inside. Okay, so it's the same thing like count operation or tail operation, so operation. So this is something which is available. Streaming, so we are not doing any streaming. So as of now, this is going to be completely blank. But the main part is your first page, which is a job. So what is the kind of a job that you are submitting, and then how your job is behaving internally. And here again, so your job is getting successful or maybe your job is getting failed. Everything you will be able to observe on a micro level, and every kind of a log you will be able to generate. Okay, so we can keep on coming back over here. So back and forth, and then maybe try to observe your Spark UI. It is going to give you a lot of knowledge, a lot of understanding about the internals of the Spark, that how actually a Spark runs inside a system. Now, okay, so we are able to get the columns. Now let's try to do some sort of a statistical analysis on top of the dataset that we are able to load. So to do that, so I can try to call data dot describe function. So again, same function is available inside a pandas. So data dot describe, and then I can try to call show. So show me the entire description of the data. So whatever numerical column we have, not a string based column. So whatever numerical column we have, so for those columns, it is going to show you count. Just move a little bit up, and even I can copy this data, and maybe I can try to, because that UI is not that comfortable in terms of, showing a data. Maybe I can, in a later stage, I'll try to convert it into a tabular format, and then I'll try to show you. So here it is going to show you the statistics of each and every numerical column, only for a numerical column, not for a categorical or not for the string column. So data.describe.show, and it is going to tell you that what was the user ID, what was the age, gender, location, phone brand, all those things, and then what was the count of the data inside this one, and whether we have a null value or not, what is the standard deviation of each and every column, what is a minimum inside a particular column which is available. So this is the kind of a stats it is going to show you. So maybe I'll be considering taking a small data, or I'll try to select a couple of columns, and then based on that, I'll try to show you the same operation. So till this point, is it fine, guys? Yep. So now data.describe.show, and is showing me this kind of a data. Now what I can do is, maybe I can try to write data.columns, or not columns, I would say data.select, and I would like to select a couple of columns. I don't want to see all those columns, because it's not very much visible to me when it is showing me the data about all the columns. So there is a procedure by which you will be able to select a column. So maybe I can try to give just a column name. So user ID, or not user ID, maybe I can try to give just a age over here, and then I can try to select just a age, and then I can try to call on top of it show. So show it to me. So here it is just going to show you a data from a age column, as you can see. So data from a age column, you will be able to find out. Let's suppose I have to select a multiple columns, and before that, so let me save it inside a age variable. So here, type of age, if you are going to check, so what is the type of this particular age? It's giving me none type. Okay, it's giving me none type for now. Now let's go back and try to select a multiple column. So age column is completely fine. I'll try to select maybe some more column from here. Now, so I can try to select maybe a phone brand, not a phone brand. Maybe I can try to select monthly recharge cost in INR. So let's try to select this column along with this one. Okay. So these are the two columns which I'm able to select. So in this way, you will be able to select any number of column that you want. Making sense, guys? Any cheat sheet? So no, I think if you're coming from a Python background, right? If you're coming from the Pandas background, so you will not be able to find out this very different. And at the end of the day, so I'm going to show you almost all the major APIs which is available inside the Spark, so that whenever you have to like call anything, you can just go and try to like get the data. Yeah. Okay. Fine, everyone. So let me ping you this line of a code as well. Now, so here I'm going to create an age variable, but I'll remove this show function. So what I will do is I'll simply like call this age, and I'm not calling this function over here. So dot show function, because dot show function is going to give me none type. So here it is going to show you, let's suppose if I'm going to call like a age, and if I'm going to check what is the type of this age, what is the type, typ, type of this particular age, it is going to show me a type of this age is basically a data frame, PySpark data frame. So data frame is nothing but it's a tabular structure. This is what it means. Now I can again go back, and here, so this table is a bit clumsy and I was not able to understand much out of this one. So I can try to call describe.show on this small data. So maybe on this age data, because this is a data frame. So I'll try to call a describe over here so that it can give me a description which I will be able to understand. So maybe in a last execution, you were not able to understand about the describe, that what describe actually give it to you. But here in a summary tab, you will be able to understand. So it is giving you a count. So count is basically these main number of records. These number of records are available in a age column. These main number of records are available into a monthly recharge cost column. And if there is some null value, right? If there is some null value, so there will be a column differences, and based on the column differences, you will be able to understand. And in that case, obviously you have to remove it. Now, what is the average age of a person about which this data talks, like about which we have collected this data? So average age of this person is 37.5-year-old. Now, what is the average like recharge people are doing on a monthly basis in INR, Indian rupees? So it's a 1042 rupees of the average recharge people are trying to do. What is a standard deviation? So means fluctuation of the data from a mean. So let's suppose this is my mean point, and today itself I have discussed about it in my data science class. So what is a standard deviation? So basically a standard deviation is 552. Meaning is there is a huge dispersion into our data. So it's not like everyone is doing a recharge of this. Some people are like going ahead with a heavy recharge, and some people are going ahead with basically like a very small amount of a recharge. Again, if I'll talk about the standard deviation into a age column, so standard deviation is still a bit high, because 37 is an average. So inside my record, you will be able to find out on an average most of the data, or I would say 68% of the data, as per the concept of a standard deviation between the age of 37 minus 13, which is like a 24 to 50-year-old. So 68% of the data approximately you will be able to find out between this particular age range. You can even go into the data manually and you can cross check. 68%, I'm not saying 100%, 68% of the people basically fall under this particular age group, I would say. Okay. And if I'll talk about this, so almost 68% of the people are basically doing a recharge between 1500 rupees to, I would say, 500 to 1500 rupees. This is like a data. This is what I will be able to understand from the standard deviation, that majority of people are ranging between this in terms of a recharge, in terms of a age, majority of people are ranging in between this one. So similarly, you can try to call a describe and you can try to understand other data part as well. So not just this data part. So maybe you can try to understand other data part like about maybe call duration, data uses, or screen time, which is very, very important one. So what is like average people are trying to spend on a screen, each and everything you all will be able to understand over here. Okay, so this is completely fine. So we are able to understand what describe function actually does. Now minimum. So what is the minimum age inside my entire data set inside age column? So minimum age is basically 15 year. Or what is the minimum recharge cost? So minimum recharge cost is basically 100 rupees. Now what is the maximum age for which data is available? So maximum age is basically 60. And what is the maximum recharge people are doing? So 2000. So as per my data, the maximum that we have available inside my monthly recharge cost is basically 2000 rupees over here. So hope till this point things are fine. Yes, everyone. Yeah. And you are able to write this entire piece of a code. It's a small code. So we are just trying to perform a EDA operation, exploratory data operation, analytics operation we are trying to perform over here. Okay. So now moving ahead, right? Moving ahead. So here, let's suppose I have to change a column name, or maybe I have to maybe like filter out some of the data. Let's suppose I have to filter out some of the data from data set. So how I will be able to filter out a data based on the condition which I'm going to write. So how I will be able to filter out the data. So for that, there is a filter function which is given to you. So you can write a data. So you can call your data. You can call your filter function. So filter filter function. And inside that, you can try to write a condition. Inside that, you can try to write a condition that based on what column value you are trying to filter out. So let's suppose I would like to filter out a data for everyone who is below the age of 20. So I would like to see a data. So where average age or age is basically not average age. So age is lesser than 20. So that is my requirement out of this particular data. So I would like to filter out that kind of a data. So what I can do is I can try to call data.filter and I have to write a condition over here on the column basically, right? That age column. So before that, just call a column call function and then inside that write your column name. So age here. So age is lesser than 20. So based on that, give me a data set. Filter out a data set where age is lesser than 20. So this is the filter which I can try to write. And then maybe I can try to call a show function over here. Let's see. Column is not defined. So fine, column I can try to define in one of the variable. So column. Filter out. Let me check what is a. Okay, so column I have not defined. So I have just done the import of Spark session. Okay, fine, not an issue. So what I can do is I can try to do an import. So maybe I can write over here from, because it is not able to identify the column. So I have to write these things inside the import one. So PySpark, SPARK, PySpark dot SQL dot function I can try to call. So PySpark dot SQL dot function, and then I can try to write import and I can write a column import. So in this way, it is not going to give me any issue. Okay, so what is PySpark SQL dot functions? Okay, spelling mistake, it's S. Okay, so PySpark SQL, and then from that you can try to import a column first. I'm coding with you. Great, Pradeep. Great. Yeah. So function. So column, I'm just trying to import, and after import, what I can do is I can come again over here and then maybe I can try to execute. Yeah. So here it is giving me a data. So based on the condition which I have written, and whatever condition which I want, I can just try to write it down. Simple, right? So based on this, it is going to give me a data set. But again, this data set is a bit huge, so I'm not able to do the analysis. So let's suppose, so I'm able to filter out this data, and I wanted to check that whoever is below 20 year, I wanted to see their data uses basically. So what I want is, this is my data, right? And let's suppose there are people who is below 20 year. So I wanted to see that what is their screen time, what is their data uses, and what is their call duration. So these are the three parameters which I would like to analyze. So, okay, I can try to do a column selection over here to achieve the same thing. So let's try to filter, and then on top of that, let's try to select the column. So here I'm applying a filter, copying the same code. So here I'm applying the filter. Now, once it will be able to apply the filter, so I'll write a select. So select to select the particular column. I believe we have already used the select feature over here, right? So with the help of select, we were able to select the particular column. So what I can do is I can try to write a select over here and select, and whatever column I would like to select, I can try to give a name. So I would like to select this screen time, and then I would like to select basically data uses per month, and I would like to select a third column. So what is their call duration, whoever is having age below 20. Yeah, so age below 20. And then I can try to call a show. So show me a data of a person, of a people whose age is lesser than 20. So as you can see, age is lesser than, okay, let me print a age column as well, right? So that things will be more visible. So here, age column, so A capital, age column. Yeah. So here you are able to get 4 columns. One is the age, one is the screen time, one is the data uses, and one is a call duration. Simple. And just by looking into a data set, you will be able to analyze something, that what is a average screen time, what is the average data uses, what is the average call duration for anyone who is having age lesser than 20. So guys, let's suppose if I have to do some sort of analysis, I would like to know that what is the maximum screen time, what is the minimum screen time, what is the average screen time. So how I will get to know, guys? Any idea? So how I will get to know? So what is the average screen time or average data uses, average call duration? I believe you will be able to give an answer. Yeah. So describe operation, exactly. And we have already discussed about describe operation, guys, right? We have already discussed about this operation. I just have to call what? I just have to call this particular function, right? So here I can try to call describe just right after this one. Maybe I can copy this. I'll leave it as it is. And here, so I can try to call dot dsc ribe, then function, and then call it. So it is going to give me a description about each and everything. So here is my required analysis for anyone who is having age lesser than 20. So total number of data out of my 17,000 some records. So the total number of data that I have is 1941, right? There is no null value. All of this data is having like a same number of count. Average age is 17 year. Average screen time is 6.54. And this is I keep on talking about even in my on my recent video. So how to destroy your career. I believe you have seen that video. That video is in Hindi. So if you have not seen that video, so please go and watch that video if you understand Hindi. If you don't understand Hindi, then maybe I'll have to create a English version of that, or maybe you can try to on a subtitle. So this is what I was talking about, that on an average, right? On an average, just imagine people are below of age 20 and they are spending 6.5 hours daily. Just think about their mental state and think about the kind of a dopamine hit in a bad way they used to get for this 6.5 long hour. And average data use is 25 GB, call duration 153 minute. So 2.5 hour, more than 2.5 hour. Okay, so this is something that we have. Plus, if you will look into the standard deviation, right? Standard deviation. So it's not deviating much on an average, like 3 hour is an average, I can say. 3 hour, 6.54 is average. So 3 hour is a minimum, you can say. So minimum 3 hour on an average, or 2.5 to 3 hours, just by looking into the standard deviation data. So I can assume that at minimum, so a person or the kid who is like using a mobile phone, which is a minimum one, but still that kid is using it for at minimum 3 hour on an average. So 6 minus 3.15. So this is how you can try to calculate. Data uses, again, not much of deviation I can see over here. Call duration, yeah, there is a deviation, little bit of that. So minimum age of the kid in my data set is basically 15. Maximum age is 19. I don't have anyone who is having 20 years. Minimum screen time is basically 1 hour. And maximum is 12 hours. So there are some kid who is using these things for 12 hours. That's amazing analytics. And data uses, so 50 GB. And call duration, 299 minutes, means 5 hours a day. Amazing, amazing, right? So this is the kind of a amazing result I'm just trying to derive from my data set. So which is not visible just by looking into this particular sheet. And this is not the only statistics. So I can derive 100 more statistics out of that. Some of the, so I'm just, as of now, I'm just trying to derive the statistics out of the direct data. But I can even create a derived data out of that derived data. I will be able to show the statistics. Okay, so this is like, I mean, like their parents must be having some sort of a worries or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's worrisome. Now, let's suppose we are trying to write this kind of a API. So how many of you are comfortable with SQL, guys? Anyone in a like class who is comfortable with SQL? Not advanced level of SQL, just a basic level of SQL. So any one of you who is like comfortable, okay with SQL? Just okay. Please, English motivation too. Okay, so we have some guy so who is comfortable with SQL. Okay, so there is an amazing news for all of you, right? Let's suppose you are finding this one as very difficult. So maybe you are not able to understand this entire things on a day one. Although it's not difficult, believe me, it's not difficult. Those who are coming from a Python background, right? And especially those who are attending my Python class, who is going to complete my Python class, for them, they will find out that there is nothing new in this. So whatever operation that we are doing, there is nothing new. New things will come for them in a future. So when I'll talk about the Azure Data Factory and I will talk about the SD Insight, I'll be talking about other services like a Glue or maybe an Apache NiFi or maybe a Kafka. So at that point of a time, they will find a topic as a new. But this is not new for a Python guy. Very simple, right? If someone is saying that, no, this is alien to me, I will not believe, right? I'll not believe. And if you're not aware about it, so please go and join a Python classes, right? So we have a Python class. We have even a recorded version of Python in Hindi and English, not by me, by Bappy and Prince. So Bappy has recorded English and Prince has recorded Hindi. And yeah, so you will be able to learn in a fast track. Otherwise, join my live classes, which is available in Hindi, English, both. Now, those who are not comfortable, still not comfortable with this, so Spark provides you an API. So where you can write a plain SQL query to do this entire analysis, which I'm doing, or any kind of a even complex analysis, you all will be able to do. So let me show you that part first. Okay. So how I will be able to write a plain SQL query, the way we write a SQL query in MS SQL, Microsoft, or like Microsoft SQL, or maybe into a MySQL Workbench or anywhere, right? In any SQL system, maybe in a Postgres or anywhere. So here, if I have to do that, so maybe what I can do is I can take my data, the data which I have loaded, and then I can try to call a function called as create or replace, right? Temp view. So this is the function which is available. So create or replace global temp, not a global one. So create or replace temp view as of now, not a global. You can keep it as, even you can keep global, that is not an issue. It is not going to affect you. Okay. And then, right. So then you can try to give a table name, the way we used to create a table. So here things are even simpler. So generally in a SQL workbench or in a MS SQL, so you have to create a schema, create table statement you have to write, and then you will be able to create a table. Here only this statement is going to create a table for you. And here I can try to give a table name. So let me give a table name based on the data set. So phone uses India. Okay. So phone underscore use underscore IND. Okay. So IND. I'm going to write. So this is my table name. This will become my table name by default. Execute it now. Fine. Execute it. So it will be able to create a table. And what is the table name? This is the table name. Simple. This is the only thing you have to do. Now, so here, how I will be able to run a SQL query, by the way. Yeah. How I will be able to run a SQL query. Simple. You have to call Spark, S-P-A-R-K, Spark.SQL. And then inside that, you can try to write select a star from my table. So what is my table name? So basically my table name is phone underscore use underscore IND, right? Select a star from phone IND. And this is going to, and then you have to call show, obviously, SHOW, show function you have to call. Now it is going to select the entire table. It is going to select the entire table. Amazing, right? So this is the power of Spark SQL. So when people was trying to design Spark, right? And actually same people have designed Databricks. So if you'll go and check the history, so who has designed Spark? So a group of the developer, a group of the people who have designed Spark, and they have released it back then in 2010, basically. The year which I remember. So it's been 14 years since it's been released and since it's available for all of us. So these are the same guy who have created this Databricks entire platform. So they own this particular platform. So here, just you can write a plain SQL query, and with the help of it, you will be able to perform any kind of operation that you want. Here is a column name that is available to you. So some of you, and keeping this in a mind, that most of the people are not very much good with writing a code or maybe even a Pythonic code. So what they have done is, and still they have to utilize and they have to leverage the capability of Spark, because Spark is an execution engine. It always try to optimize the entire process. It always try to run a query, or it will try to run anything, or it will be able to process the data almost 100x faster as compared to any MapReduce system. So they said that okay, so those who are not able to understand this kind of APIs, Spark plain APIs, right? So for them, what they can do is, so maybe they can try to write a plain SQL, and this SQL will get converted eventually into this kind of a API. This kind of a API is eventually getting converted into a plain Java code, and then you are able to see the result, right? So if you are worried about API, and again, without any exception, believe me, without any exception, whatever you will be able to do with this, you will be able to do with SQL query as well, right? So those who are comfortable with SQL, they can write their own version of a SQL and then do whatever you want. For example, if I have to do a column selection, so what I can do is I can simply select, and then column name I can try to give. So maybe I can try to give a age column. I can try to give some other column. Maybe I can try to give a location column over here. So age column, location column from this particular table, and execute. I will be able to select it. See how easy it is. And you don't have to do even a extra installation. I have not done any kind of extra installation, just with the same Spark. So I'm just trying to call the Spark session into a SQL Spark, and then Spark SQL I'm calling. Inside that I'm writing a plain SQL query, and based out of that I'm able to access the data. So here the condition which I have written, where age is greater than 0, give me the data. So give me this and this column, and here I can write a plain SQL. So where WHERE, where age is, so where age is greater than 20. I believe this is the API which I have written in a above tab. Yeah. So now see, so it is showing you age and location whose age is greater than 20. Lesser than 20. For lesser than 20, I have executed it, right? So here I'm writing greater than 20. So you will be able to write anything and everything. You will be able to write joins over here. You will be able to group the data. You will be able to write a query inside a query. Inside a query means a complex query. You will be able to write everything and anything. And that is a beauty of using a Spark. Yep. Yeah. So hope this is going to give you some sort of a relax. People who is like good with a SQL query, right? So in my class, I'm going to teach you in both the way. So I'm going to teach you in a SQL way, and I'm going to teach you even in this particular way. So if you will go to your syllabus, and if you will check your Big Data Masters lecture, expand all. So here I have mentioned SQL statement, right? SQL database basic. So I'm going to teach you that with respect to a Spark. Fine, guys? Yeah. So everything and anything. So we are going to cover in a step-by-step manner, and soon you will be able to understand. But yeah, so this is the SQL query, and I'm able to happily write a SQL query. I'm able to like import a data or whatever I want. I'm able to perform it. So I'll be going in both the mode, guys. And those who are not comfortable in the API mode, you can switch to the SQL mode. You can write your query. But I'll suggest you that even API mode is not very like hard. It's not tough at all. It's just a simple plain Python code that we are writing, just like a data frame. So like a data frame query that we used to write in a pandas. So similar thing we are trying to use. So nothing fancy and nothing different over here. Okay. So any question, guys? So sir, are you sharing the notebook in a resource section after the class? Obviously I'll share the notebook. Okay, so any question for me? Okay, so if there is no question for me for today, so I don't want to like overload all of you guys with newer stuff too much, because I have to discuss a lot, like hundreds and hundreds of line I can start writing and then start executing. But again, so I just want you to go through this, because this is the basic. Now, if you know this much, after that, I'm going to write 100, 200 line of a code. You all will be able to understand, and in a very, very comfortable way. And give yourself time, try to revise some of the Python concepts. We already have a Python classes in English recorded live in both the mode. So whatever suits you, please try to go ahead with it and try to use it. Now I'm going to share this entire file with all of you. So here I'll import, and then I have a multiple options. So I have basically a DBC archive, so Databricks collection archive, and I have basically a notebook file. So I can try to download even as a notebook. So it's downloaded over here, and I can download as a DBC archive as well. So DBC is nothing but, so when I'm going to share you this DBC data or DBC file, you will be able to import as it is. And let's suppose if I have shared a lot of files with all of you, so just you have to copy one single DBC, and then the entire file will be replicated automatically. Otherwise, what you can do is you can just try to like upload your Jupyter notebook, and then I think we all know how to make use of a Jupyter notebook. So just upload your Jupyter notebook and you will be able to find out the same code. So I've already uploaded this notebook, guys, inside your chat. So please go and download it. And if you have missed anything, so please try to cope up with the entire class. And in my next class, back to back. So I'll be taking a multiple data. So today I'm trying to read a CSV data, but I'll try to read even Excel data. I'll try to read even a JSON data. I'll try to read even a Parquet file, ORC file, RC file inside your class. And then back to back, a complex data manipulation I'm going to show you. Today, it's just a one-liner kind of a data manipulation, which I have shown you. But this is just a beginning. And I don't want to discuss everything in the single day, because some of you will like stop learning big data. I don't want that. Fine, guys, with that, I'm done. So if you have any kind of a question for me, so please go ahead, I'll answer, and then we'll try to end the class. So yes, any question for me, guys? Anyone? and hope you are liking this class, this practical one. Yep. Okay, downloaded. Fine. So yeah, all of you are going to like this class, and all of you are going to learn. So fine guys, in this way we'll try to move in our upcoming classes, and please be ready for the next class, because I don't want to explain a basic things which I have explained already in this particular classes. So just try to do a little bit of preparation. I'm not going to give you any kind of a homework today, but yeah, just a request to all of you that try to do a little bit of preparation just for a Python, or maybe if you are like good with a SQL, so try to revise your concept of SQL, because like I said, you will be able to write a SQL query and you will be able to write a Python kind of a code, whatever suits with you. At the end of the day, motive is to analyze a data. Motive is to perform a variety of operation on top of the data set. So with that, thank you so much everyone. See you again in my class, same time, 2:15 p.m. IST. With that, thank you so much everyone. Take care. Have a great day. Thanks.